Spalding here from Handgun Combatives. We haven't done a video in a while, quite frankly, just because it's been real busy and we had an extremely terrible winter in Ohio, which made getting out and filming really difficult to do. Been kind of in a quandary as to what I wanted to bring to your attention, because there is so much on the internet as far as technique and shooting and tactics and all that kind of stuff. So looking back through past videos, we noticed that one of the most popular ones we did was a little review of the FNS pistol. So people tend to like gear, so we thought we'd highlight some gear. In this particular case, it's not even a handgun. What I want to talk about today are the really super good AR-15s that are being built by my buddy Bob Mazzaris at Templar Custom Arms. Now, the two guns we have here are mine and my son-in-law Darren's. And these really aren't the basic level patrol rifle, but they're also not the high-end competition guns. These are kind of a smorgasbord or a salad bar type of gun, where we actually asked Bob to put particular features on the guns that were to our liking. Bob cuts his uppers and lowers himself. He doesn't buy them from another vendor. He actually manufactures these himself. And as you can see, we've got serial numbers HC001 and HC002, the Handgun Combatives logo on those. We wanted a very, very thin forearm so we could grab a hold of it. In this particular case, it's the Midwest Industries. They have a single piece of rail on them for a white light. The grip is a Magpul grip, and the reason I selected that was because the standard military grip does not fill this area, and when I grab a hold of it, my finger's way too far in. Well, this little filler right here allows me to put my finger right where I want on the trigger. And, you know, when you're trying to get good trigger control, having proper trigger finger placement is really important. The Magpul rear stock, the BCM gunfighter charging handle. The reason I like this is because you got this little extra to grab a hold of, whether you're blading it with your hand, you're grabbing a hold of it with your fingers. You can manipulate these things really rough because they're built and designed for that type of manipulation, and that kind of thing is worth its weight in gold. Darren and I both have a single light on them. In his particular case, it's a Surefire Scout. I'm using the Enforce light. Enforce is an interesting light because it offers a corona that really is much brighter than the lumen level would indicate. Now, a number of people make an argument for having a constant on and on capability. I guess the way I've looked at it over the years is I was always more concerned with the light being on when I didn't want it to be on, and allowing bullets to track back my way. So I kind of like the constant on, off, and nothing more. If I want it on, I'm pressing it. If I want it off, I'm off of it. If I want to protect it, I can put up that guard. But the Enforce light is really a pretty good light, and it's something you ought to take a look at. Though, hey, look, Surefire has earned their place in the firearms industry because they make really, really good products. We have backup iron sights. Darren wanted the flip-up Magpuls. I've got the Midwest Industries with a Ameriglow tritium bead in it. Why? I guess I just like Midwest Industry stuff. It's proven to be really robust, and I'm going to stick with what I know. I have a Battle Comp flash hider muzzle brake on mine, and I read an article here not too long ago that said if you're using the Battle Comp, you're a dick. And after reading the article, I guess it had to do with people on either sides of the shooters getting some concussion back from the unit. Well, you know what? If you're doing something to the escaping gases to help the muzzle stay on target, then you're probably going to be sending some sort of concussive effect off to the side. Can that be a problem if you're on the firing line next to another shooter? Maybe. A gunfight? Not so sure. But the idea of having something on the end of the gun to help the muzzle stay on target for fast follow-up shots just makes a ton of sense to me. Darren's got the new Ghost muzzle brake on his, and that's from the people who make the Ghost Glock trigger connectors. I have shot next to Darren on the line, and I haven't really noticed any kind of gases or concussion coming back my way, so I guess it's just a matter of what you're used to. Darren likes the vertical foregrip on his, and I think that's fine if you like it. A lot of people use it wrong. They try to grab a hold of it like a beer can. You're not using it correctly. You want to basically separate the hands out like you're using a pistol. Take it forward, keep the thumb off to the side where it's available to your light, keep the wrist locked, helping hold that muzzle down as you're shooting rapidly. I tend to do the same thing with mine, bringing it out and just rolling my hand up and over top. I don't hyperextend my elbow like many of the competition people do, mostly because I had the elbow rebuilt and that's not comfortable for me. But I still grab a hold of it, pull it back into me. Again, whatever you want works out great for you. We do have optics on our guns. In this particular case, it's the mini aim points. These things are great, but I got to tell you, they're not the only ones. The EOTech unit, which is a favorite of many of the military units because of its wide field of view. And then this mini ACOG, which is a 1.5 power, in case you want a little magnification. And I'll tell you what, you can co-witness through this sight. The iron sights look a little magnified, but you can flip them up and shoot through this, which you can't do with some of the higher magnifications. The barrel rate of twist is totally up to you. I have a 1-7 chrome lined barrel. The reason I asked for that, because it best stabilizes my favorite carry load, which is the Black Hills 77 grain match hollow point. This bullet's been used by many of the special operations forces. It gives the 223 5.56 greater reach. And as a general rule, bigger, heavier bullet will be a better bullet, which would bring you to the conclusion, well, why aren't I using a 308? Well, because shooting the 5.56 is real easy to do. So Darren, I believe, has got a 1-8 rate of twist in his, which will stabilize the 55 to 75 grain bullets. But in a nutshell, it's really what you want from an AR-15. But Bob at Temper Custom Arms, he can pretty much build a quality gun any way you want, including custom triggers. Darren's got a standard mil-spec trigger on his, but mine's got a Wilson trigger on it because I wanted a little bit better trigger break. I'm not all that skilled, so having a better trigger really works for me. An AR, you got to have a sling on it because the sling to the carbine is what the holster is to a pistol. Now, this sling that I have is something that I asked that the folks at Outdoor Connection to make for me a number of years ago. It's a one-hand quick adjust sling with this unique buckle on it. I don't think they ever actually produced it, which is a shame, but there are any other number of single point slings. The Vickers Blue Force, like what Darren has on his, Kyle Lamb's Viking Tactics sling, which is exceptional. I tend to gravitate to the 2 points over the 3 points and the 1 point slings because, well, quite frankly, I just like them better. Not going to get into a whole lot of technique here, but what I will tell you is shooting the carbine is not like shooting an MP5. You just can't stand flat-footed. You can lean into the gun, but put this foot back a little bit. Be like having a target stand with the wind blowing. It's going to blow it over, but if you put a brace or an upright back this way, it's going to hold it in place. So, on the target, quick shots. The great thing about the 5.56 is you can shoot it fast. And as you can see right there, 25 yards, tennis ball on a cone, I can shoot the rifle. Just because my company's called Handgun Combatives doesn't mean I can't shoot the carbine. I can shoot the carbine. I just would prefer you to go to the high-end military guys like Kyle Lamb or Kyle DeFore to get your AR training instead of coming to me. However, the handgun has been my primary carry gun for 3.5 decades. I do the handgun quite well, so hopefully I'll see you at a handgun class this summer.